Hello, and welcome to Nutrition Unfiltered, a podcast where science meets sass. I am Christy Maloney, registered dietitian and eating disorder specialist. This is a place where we talk nutrition, ask the hard questions, and have some fun along the way. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, I'm Christy. Welcome back to Nutrition Unfiltered. Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about body acceptance and what that looks like in practice. Body image occurs on a spectrum. So if you think about it from being negative to neutral to positive, most people are going to go back and forth on this spectrum. So when we think about what is body negativity, that is when someone just does not like their body. They just feel very focused on what they perceive as their flaws. They feel like they are just very aware of the negative things and they don't feel good in their bodies. So this might be someone who's very ashamed to go out somewhere in public, or they want to wear clothes that really hide themselves, or just really are overly concerned about what they think strangers might be thinking about their bodies. That is body negativity. So when we think about body negativity, I'm going to talk about body positivity, and then we're going to talk about what's neutral. So that's the thing in the middle. So body positivity is when someone feels great about their body. They feel like what they're wearing is great. They feel super confident. They just have this sort of glow about them, I guess, so to speak. It's somebody that doesn't really think about what other people are going to think of them in their body, or is somebody else going to judge my outfit, or they're not hyper fixating on their flaws. It's just somebody that is really comfortable in their skin and just feels really good. I like to tell my clients that that is a utopian thought, to think that you're going to live in that space all the time. That would be beautiful, but it's just not reality. So when we think about where might be a good place to settle on the spectrum. So remember, we've got body negativity, body neutrality, and body positivity. So neutrality, what does that mean? So feeling neutral about your body is just knowing I have a body, right? I have arms, I have legs, I have a stomach. Those parts do things for me. They allow me to hug or walk or eat or talk, whatever function those parts are serving. The thing with that is, if you're living in a space of aiming for body neutrality and focusing on what your body can do for you and how it's helpful, that can help pull you out of the body negative spaces. So, for example, if you are looking in the mirror and your thought is, oh my gosh, I really hate my thighs. They look so big. They look cottage cheesy. Whatever the thought is that you're having, if you can think about it in terms of, I have legs. My thighs are the size that they are. I have cellulite. Most people have cellulite. If you can really come back to that space, that's going to help with the body negative piece. And that's how we define neutral. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. So if you think about sliding across the scale, right? Sometimes you're going to veer into body negativity. That's normal. We all have days where you just don't feel great. Your outfit doesn't feel comfortable. You feel bloated or sluggish or whatever thing, right? And so some other days you're going to feel more neutral, right? Like, I'm wearing clothes. They're fine. I have my body. It's fine. And then some days you're going to have more body positivity. So some days you're just going to feel really great. And that's normal, right? Like, we want to have some days like that. But if we can think about just trying to live in that neutral space, right? So right in the middle, if we can adjust, we're going to go down a little bit to negativity, and some days we're going to go up a little bit to positive, that is just a really realistic place to live. If you're in a space of wondering on your body positivity or body image journey, is it wrong if I don't like my body some days, if I just really don't like it? That's not wrong. We've been taught a lot through our culture, through society, through social media now, about how our bodies, quote unquote, should look. So if you're thinking about some days feeling like, I just really don't love my body, I just can't get there today, I can't even get to neutral today, I'm just not feeling great, that's okay. What you want to think about at first is, if you're having more negative days than neutral days, then we want to move it to more neutral than negative days. And then live in a space of I have some good days mixed in with more neutral and some negative. Really just thinking about, again, moving along that spectrum is okay. But if you're coming from a place where you've never really liked or accepted your body and you're finding that hard at first, that's okay. That's completely normal. In order to like your body, even in that space of neutrality, body respect is such an important concept. So when we think about what is body respect, that is doing things for your body to take care of it, right? So you want to brush your teeth, you want to brush your hair, you maybe want to style your hair. You want to take your medications, you want to get some movement, you want to eat nutritious foods, you want to drink some water, you want to go to the doctor, you want to go to the dentist. All those things that just help take care of your body and maintain it, right? So, without at least a fair number of those things, it's going to be really hard to like your body because you're just not probably feeling that great in your body. So, if you think about getting up and you're having a poor body image day, if you this sounds so simplistic and I'm aware of that, but if you can get up and brush your teeth and brush your hair and maybe put on an outfit that feels good to you, that goes a long way from getting you from negative, I don't like myself, my body at all, to like, okay, I feel okay. And then when you're doing those, more maintenance-y kind of things, today I'm going to make sure I floss and I'm going to keep my dentist appointment next week. Those kinds of things, that really is showing up for yourself, right? So that's signaling to yourself, I am worth this. I am worth taking care of. And when you start to build that respect with yourself, it goes a long way. So you want to think about the relationship you have with yourself and your body as you would any other relationship, right? So if you have a partner and that partner you never helped out or took care of, or you said negative things to them all the time, and you really just generally acted irritated in their presence all the time, that relationship would suffer if not end. So if you think about applying that to your relationship with your body and your body image, it kind of works the same. Of course, the relationship won't end, but it keeps you stuck in that very, very negative space, which is going to play out in all areas of your life. Outside influences in this day and age, we are inundated with reels and TikToks and images of what people look like. One thing that I want to make clear that I tell my clients all the time is, especially with social media, you can curate that. There are body positive spaces, there are, accounts that promote body positivity. If you can seek out those accounts, seek out that positive messaging versus following an influencer that's showing what I eat in a day to look like me, which is really unrealistic. Or you have, your social media has a lot of what you would consider very beautiful people that maybe fall into the very thin or very athletic or whatever you might perceive it to be. If you think about how much time we spend on social media looking at those images and how much, if you look at one type of image, the algorithm then sends you to, go down that rabbit hole. You really want to think about making sure that what you're looking at is good for your mind. Doing that is going to help go a long way in the body respect, because if you're looking for, often most of us, hours a day at things that make you consistently feel not good, the desire to get up and go do something that makes yourself feel better plummets. Because I think oftentimes then that becomes a why does it matter, kind of effect. Kind of counter to that, if you are following accounts that are body positive and that show people in all sizes enjoying their bodies, be it a smaller body type or a larger body type, wearing clothing that they enjoy, doing activities that they enjoy, not hiding from their life because they're ashamed, that then also gives you the confidence to go do those same things, which is life-changing, honestly. So we're going to have days where things trigger us to feel not great about ourselves. One example I see all the time among my clients is when someone outside of themselves makes a comment on their body, be it a friend or a family member or an acquaintance, whatever, it doesn't matter. But they make a negative comment on that person's body. That can be super triggering. So let's say, for example, you see somebody and they say, "Oh, you've gained weight." I just want to caveat that by saying that weight gain isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when someone comments on it and you know that that's coming from a place of judgment, that does not feel good. So, things you can do, right? Like in those moments, I'm sassy. And at this point in my life, I would call them out on it. But that might not be for everybody. So, if you're feeling it, you can say something to the effect of, "Yeah, what of it?" Or, "There are plenty of other fun things to talk about. And my weight is the least interesting of all of those things." Or just create a clear boundary. "I don't want you to talk about my body. We're not talking about my body today." If that doesn't feel authentic to you, because I know that can be kind of assertive, other things you can do are excuse yourself from the conversation. Just, "I have to run to the restroom. I'll be back." Or just change the topic, right? Like change the conversation at hand. Anything that's going to steer away from body talk, because I like to make it a general rule, we don't talk about people's bodies. So if you can kind of latch that into your brain and know that that's the rule, if somebody makes a body comment, I'm not going to engage in that, be it about myself or somebody else. That is a really good place to say, like, "Hey, boundary, we're going to shut that down." Now, I'm aware that even if you shut that conversation down or you ask that person to stop, the effects of that can still linger. If you go home and you look in the mirror and you say, "Oh my gosh, I have gained weight," and that can create a really negative feeling in some people, which I want to say is okay. Like, it's okay if you feel that way, but things you can do to help yourself feel better. So I want you to come back to the body image spectrum, right? So if all right, I'm feeling kind of lousy about myself right now because somebody made a comment about my weight. Okay, what I want to do is get back to neutral. That's your very next step. And so when you think about, okay, so I'm feeling negative, how do I get to neutral? That is a really good time to say, "My body is my body." That's very neutral. I have arms, I have a stomach, I have legs, and all of those things are okay. And that's also one of those spaces that you want to practice body respect. So when you think about rituals that maintain how good you feel, that's another space to say, "Okay, well, I feel kind of lousy, but I'm going to take my vitamins and I'm going to floss my teeth and I'm going to brush my teeth and I'm going to do my skincare. I'm going to do all of these things, the rituals that I have in place that I know help to make me feel better." And that is going to go a long way. But it might take a little reminding yourself of, like, "Hey, I have a body and my body's okay. And I'm going to keep doing things that respect it. And that's going to pull me out of that negative space." In order to know, is social media affecting me negatively? Is, what I'm following, what my social media is curated, is it having a negative impact on my mental health? I want you to do a little inventory. So for a day, if you can, just pay attention, one, to the accounts that you're drawn to, and then two, how those things have curated your algorithm. Just notice it. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to change it. I just want you to notice it. When you're in a good headspace, right? When you're in a space of at least body neutrality, notice these things. Notice what's going on. Scroll like you normally would, right? So maybe you do whatever you're doing on social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, for 30 minutes. Notice how you feel after, right? So you're going into this with, I feel at least in a body neutral, if not somewhat body positive space. I'm going to be aware of what's on my social media, what accounts I'm drawn to. I'm going to be aware of how I feel when I start scrolling. And then after 30 minutes, I'm going to be aware of how I feel when I stop. And that's going to tell you a lot if you notice you're comparing yourself to a fitness influencer or a nutrition influencer, or an uncredentialed professional that really does not know what they're talking about. That's going to tell you a lot about the things that you need to change in your social media to help just feel better day to day. If you find yourself in a negative thought spiral about your body, with clients, there is one therapeutic tool that I love. It's called opposite action. So, what you really want to think of is if you're in a negative spiral and you're thinking, "I can't wear this thing," or "I can't go to this event," or "It's not even worth putting some makeup on." Whatever that negativity is that's coming from a really not great spot for you, I want you to do the opposite of it. It sounds super simple on the surface, and I get that, but if you can say, "All right, I'm feeling in a space of negativity. I do not want to go to this event tonight because I just feel awful about myself." I get it, right? Like the last thing you want to do is put on some clothes and go to the event. But I promise when you actually get there, you're going to feel better. You might not feel like sunshine and rainbows, but you're going to feel better. And then that signals to yourself that, you know what, the next time that you're feeling not great, if I go and do the thing, it's going to help. And then over time, it just feels better and better. At first, it's a little fake it till you make it, but you want to do the opposite of whatever that negative voice is telling you to do. If you have found this episode intriguing and you would like more information about body image, body neutrality, healing your relationship with food, you can go to ChristyMaloney.com where I have a nutrition recovery workbook available for purchase. It's going to help guide you through these things. In that workbook, it's a combination of education, so learning some nutrition science, learning just some different things, but it's also in addition to different exercises that I do with my clients to help walk them through how to achieve a neutral relationship with food in their body. We'll put a link to the Nutrition Recovery Workbook in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to see you next time. Thank you for joining me today on Nutrition Unfiltered. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share with others that might enjoy it as well. You can follow me on Instagram at eatingdisorder.dietitian. Thanks for getting sassy with me.